Today we're going to learn a parak on Avodas Hashem. Just a general thing about serving Hashem. The Torah says that when Yaakov was fighting with the angel of Esav, the Torah brings different opinions. The Medrash brings different opinions about how did the angel appear to Yaakov. One opinion is that the angel of Esav appeared to Yaakov like a thief. The second opinion is that he appeared to Yaakov like a businessman. And the third opinion is that he appeared to Yaakov like a chacham, like a tzaddik, like a chassid, like a very wise, venerable sage. If we were to unpack the meaning of this medrash, the Yetzer Hora is called a klugenker. He has tricks. He is a wise man. And it could appear to us in all kinds of interesting ways. Sometimes he appears like a thief, like a mafianer, that he's clearly trying to convince us to do the wrong thing. He tells you straight out, do the wrong thing, talk during davening, whatever the wrong thing is. He puts it into your heart and he pushes you and says, go do this. This is just worth it. This is valuable. This is enjoyable. Go ahead, just go do it. But the Yetzer Hora also could dress up like a businessman. He could say to you that he's not trying to convince you to do the wrong thing. No, he agrees with you that that the right thing is the right thing, but he tells you that you're in Mayim Rabim, you're in a huge situation of worries of parnasa, and he tries to put into your head this dream of being rich, and because he gets you into that zone of like I need more, I'm stuck. So he gives you very practical and very real seduction. He seduces you with very practical and very real things. You have a wife and children. You have to bring food home. You have to get into the stock market. You have to accumulate wealth. Or he could push you towards tivus of food. Whatever Yetzer Hora tries to do, he starts off something a little bit more palatable to your senses. He tells you, first go after something which is, it's sort of a mitzvah, after the chont on Shabbos, and he gets you into other foods, and he gets you into like really like crazy addiction to eating, or gets you into clothing, gets you into he tries to sort of like a matador trying to direct a bull. Yetzer is called the great painter. Tries to dress everything in the world that's really ugly to look beautiful, and everything that is really beautiful to look ugly. There are some people that every few hours they change their ties. That's they're into. So that's one kind of dress of the Yetzer. That's one kind of garment of the Yetzer. The businessman. He has very practical and real things. He tells you it's worth it. He tells you you need to make more money, and then when you have that thing in your head, so then you start doing all kinds of things which you think will get you there. You put that dream into your mind, but sometimes Yetzer Hora can be completely disguised. He tells you. He comes to you completely dressed like a tzaddik, like a chacham chacham. There are a lot of people who work on themselves for a couple of years. They daven, they learn for a couple of years Chassidus, and then after a while they suddenly stop. They, instead of them trying to work on themselves and daven for more concentration, they just join the regular minyan and they let go. It'll be like everybody else. They may have set times to learn, set times to daven, but they lost that drive. They lost that interest of becoming better, of davening, like when they used to have this personal interest and drive. I want to serve Hashem the best way. I'll be closer to Hashem. Instead, they let go and they go into this like routine to be like everybody else. Okay, I have set time to learn, set time to daven. It's hard to grab you and tells you it's already been a couple of years you've learned and davened, and you still have machshava zaros, you still are thinking the wrong things, you still have taivas, you still have desires for the wrong things. So why are you trying to pretend to everyone else that you're so holy? How could you lie to yourself so much? How could you're learning Chassidus, you're davening, but in your head, all these kinds of crazy things are running around. So the Yetzer Hara tells you, stop with the lies. Either be a chassid or leave. There's no in between. Be real. Stop bluffing everybody. You go to Fabrengens and you try to go to higher madregas, and the next day in the morning, as if nothing happened. So stop it. Stop lying. Stop being fake. Stop pretending. You aren't ever going to fix yourself up inside. You're not able to really daven, like I mentioned, and open up your heart to Hashem, because it's just not for you. And that's his tactic. And sometimes it enters our mind. And maybe all that decision about being better and trying to daven better and being closer, maybe that's just a childish dream. Maybe our ambition to feel godliness, to serve Hashem real, for real, to be like those legendary Chassidim, Wendell Futafas, like Nissen Nemenov, like Reb Shimon Chaim, maybe it's just a dream, maybe it's just not relevant. So this is what causes a Shiva student or any of us to get knocked off the road. It's the Yetzer Hara dressing like the sage. The animal soul puts in front of you challenges you cannot ever reach. He tells you need to be like a Mendel Futafas. You need to he puts in front of you like this higher level of chumrah, this higher level of service of Hashem, and he tells you, if you're not reaching this level, then you're nothing. If you still have machshava zaros, you still have thoughts in your head that you're not supposed to have, then this whole thing isn't for you. When the truth is out there, it says in Tanya, it's only for a tzaddik. So on the contrary, the Alter says in Tanya, Ula lakach nivra. Maybe the whole reason you were created was just to struggle with the machshava zaros. Hashem sends you those machshava zaros, sends you the wrong kinds of thoughts. You're supposed to continuously fight with them, and that's why neshama is in this world to constantly fight and push them away. But Yetzer Hara sets up this standard, this fake standard, and tells you until you reach here, it's all a waste of time. It's not real until you reach this level. Until you're like Mendel Futafaz and Nissen and Shimon Chaim, forget about it. So either be like them or don't do anything. That's Yetzer Hara dressing like the sage. It's giving you Hasidic advice. The Rebbe Rashab once said that this Yetzer Hara, the sage like Yetzer Hara, has a specific influence amongst higher and more edel souls which are a little more refined, a little more sensitive. These souls are more susceptible to be attacked by the sage like by the Yetzer Hara like the sage. He lifts them up very high. He emphasizes, they feel all of themselves to be very high, and then he throws them down. He tries to get them to do some kind of chumrah, some kind of thing that's not on their level, and through that he gets them to fall down. And then he tells you, why are you lying? It's like the Vart we learned many times in Shemona Esrei. We say before Shemona Esrei and Meira, we say, remove the Satan from in front of us and from behind us. Before you do an Aveira, Yetzer Hara tells you, it's not really an Aveira, it's okay. After you do it, he says to you, you see, you see, this whole thing isn't for you. So Yetzer Hara, the sage like Yetzer Hara, he first puts on this challenge to you and tells you have to reach this level, you have to be this way, and then he says to you, no, you can't really be this way. Just give in. And then when you give in, he's like, oh, you see, it's all a bluff. It's all fake. This is the Yetzer Hara's words: either everything or nothing. Those are words of the Yetzer Hara. That is a very successful klippa among very special neshamas. He lifts you up to very higher places, very deep places, very special places in serving Hashem, and he looks to be absolutely, totally devoted to Hashem. And then when you feel a little bit of self-worth or self-interest you feel a little bit of arrogance, then you tell yourself, oh, if I still have this sense of self and worth and self-arrogance, etc., then I haven't really reached it. It's all fake. So this is the way the Yetzer can get any one of us. We could be told by the Yetzer, why are we climbing the walls? Why should we get into the deep stuff in Chassidus? Let me be a simple Jew. Let me work for my business. Let me educate my children to be good Jews. That's enough. Forget about Mali Koloman and Seva Koloman. Who needs all that stuff? What's really the answer to the Yetzer? What's the response to the Yetzer who's dressed like a businessman? The Torah says that when Hashem made the world, Hashem saw that all that he made was very good. Hashem saw all that he made was very good. So the Medrash says, what was very good? The Yetzer Hora. The Eibusha says the Yetzer Hora was very good. So how can you say Yetzer Hora is very good? And the answer is, the Yetzer Hora is never satisfied with being good. The Yetzer Hora always says you have to be very good. He looks for perfection. He wants you to be Superman, to be totally perfect, 100%, either 100% or nothing. That's how he lifts you up, and then he puts you down. Be very careful. I once shared with you a long time ago, if you guys remember, Rabbi Futafas and Rabbi Elkan, Zozayin Gesund, were once for ringing together on a sukkah. And Rabbi Futafas and Rabbi El were arguing about who is a chassid. Rabbi El said, a chassid is someone who is 100% devoted to Hashem. If there's 1% that is not devoted to Hashem, that means he's not a chassid at all, because that means he puts his own interests before Kedusha, before what he's supposed to be interested in. He puts himself before Kedusha. And the Futafas hated that. He got so upset at Rabbi El. He said to him, if someone's 1% a chassid, he is a chassid, just 1%. So the argument of Mendel against Rabbi El was, Rabbi El was saying something very logical. If I'm able to give in, that means I'm not there. That's true, but it also could be the Yetzer Hora. And Mendel Futafas was worried about the Yetzer Hora that would result of Rabbi El's words, which would say, if I'm not there, I'm just not part of it. Mendel was saying, if you're 1% there, that's who you are. Because that's true. The Yetzer Hora, the Eibush has many malachim in Shemayim. And the Yetzer Hora tells you have to be very good. If you're not very good, you're nothing. There's nothing in the world like this. There's no such thing as absolute perfection. There's always a little bit of dirt. Since Chava ate from the tree of knowledge, there's a mixture of good and evil. So there's no such thing as things which are absolutely perfect. One of the, you have a gem, which is it looks like a sparkling gem. It's beautiful. It's a diamond that's worth, $1 million. But if you look at it with a magnifying glass, you'll discover that even this gem, which is worth $1 million, also has something in it. We need to understand that Hashem doesn't ask from us to be very good. He just wants us to be good, to do whatever we could do, with all of our faults, with all of our issues. In fact, that's exactly what Hashem wants. He wants us with all of the blemishes, with all of the. I have to send you, Yetzer Jacobson made a great video based upon the medrash that we were discussing last few weeks. The medrash about the soul that sins. The soul that sins, he gave a different parable to explain the medrash's parable. The soul, I'll send you after the share. You'll watch yourself. I don't want to ruin it, ruin the way he presents it. The point is that Hashem specifically wants the greatness of our imperfections. He gives us the power to live in the world of lies, and in the world of lies to bring some truth. That's the goal. The goal is in the world of lies, in the place of imperfection, to reveal godliness. So the fact that there's imperfection in me and yourself, that's the whole point. That's the point of Hashem's creation. He doesn't want the tzaddik. The Yetzer Hora is telling you that Hashem wants you to be very good or nothing. He's derailing you. Not just he's able to bring you down, but he's derailing you from the whole point of where you are right now. Not only does that bring you down eventually, that kind of logic, because you can't maintain perfection. But besides that, he's taking away the majesty of the struggle, how precious it is to Hashem, that little movement that we're making right now. That this movement is precious not because it's perfect, it's precious because it's the diamond in the rough. That's why it's precious. One of the everyone follow so far? Any questions, comments, criticism where we are so far? Everyone alive? Okay. So in short, the Yetzer Hara has these three kinds of ways he approaches us, either like the bandit, with tells us straight out, just do the wrong thing, and just uses a powerful force in us, like seduction. This is just go for it. This is good. This is good. I know it's a wrong thing, but you need this. Or he is the businessman who tries to get this dream of something which leaves much to be desired as to be the purpose of why we're here in this world. He gets us totally infatuated with some kind of dream, lust for money or whatever it is, and then he gets us to cut corners in our life because of that. And he tells us he comes to us with this. He dresses as a businessman and says, you need to make money for your family. You need to. And the third kind of Yetzer Hara is the venerable sage who just tells you have to be very good.
Rabbi, what about the Yetzer Hara that's 14 crows sitting on the power line above your head?
What?
The 14 crows that are above your head cawing every time you talk about the Yetzer Hara. Is there a Yetzer Hara that, I know there's the business Yetzer Hara that says like don't learn, like you gotta like hustle and work. What about the Yetzer Hara that sort of confuses you to like not work or like be like not productive in both ways? Like is that not a Yetzer Hara? Is that just like your struggle?
The difference between the words in Chassidus, Nefesh HaBahamis, and Yetzer Hara, the animal soul and the Yetzer Hara, it's basically the difference between the intellect and the emotions. There's your perspective. The Yetzer Hara tries to give you perspective and say this is the way things are, and tries to seduce us to look at things a certain way. And when those ideas become how we feel about them, then we actually feel that way. We actually think, instead of the I think becomes I feel. I feel that this is. That's when we've taken it. We've become part of the animal soul. Has four elements out there. It says in Tanya. The animal soul has fire, water, wind, and earth. One of those elements, earth, Alter says in Tanya, is the element of laziness and sadness. That's where stagnation and paralyzation comes from. Then there's Yetzer Hara of anger and arrogance, fire, and there's Yetzer Hara of water. But those are part of our persona. That's how Hashem made us. Hashem made us with a little bit of fire, water, wind, and earth. Wind is the element of frivolity, of bragging. So those are the things Hashem made us with. Like for example, Rapinya Korf, sein gesund, he so the Chaim for Rapinya, Paul Pinchas ben Chayud, I think, Chaim Rach. Rapinya, he used to write the Rebbe report about every student in the yeshiva. He wrote about one boy who used to wake up late for davening, late for saying Shema, and he said this boy has a very refined animal soul, because big Yetzer Hara is that he sleeps in. The Rebbe said it's the opposite. That animal soul of sleeping in and laziness is the lowest kind. That's earth. Of the four elements, fire, water, wind, and earth, earth is the lowest. Earth is the heaviest. So that's definitely a challenging one. So the question is,